Boom. Welcome back, my friends. Cody Moose, NPM Run Dev. Yes, it is time. Activate Crab 17. What's up, friends? How are you guys doing tonight? NPM Run iOS. Woosah. All right, guys. So, I'm here to tell you one simple trick. Click here now. In all seriousness, though, why junior devs, noobs, beginners, that people that are just starting to learn how to code, and more specifically, people that are doing this as a profession on the entry level, we can say block of the totem pole. Okay. Why those people, like, if you look back, and if you guys are developers, you look back at your peers, maybe from school, if you're self-taught, people who were, around you during this time doing the same thing, people maybe at your office, if you are a wagey doing a traditional 9 to 5, not everyone makes it, or they either just barely get by and just stay in that same spot, or they just quit. Okay. So first and foremost, you guys heard my story about K. I think we called them K in that video. And that was, I think the title of that video was like something about like, you don't need to be a nerd to code or something like that. This was like 1 or 2 weeks ago. Okay. If you don't know, if you didn't hear the story, you can go back and listen to it. But Kay was a very smart individual, right? And it didn't work out too well for them, right? So if you go and watch that video, there's plenty of reasons that you can conclude to just from that video alone. But I'm going to talk about some other reasons tonight, and also different like pathways for people in this industry who are wanting to just literally get paid from it, right? And hey, there's nothing wrong with wanting to get paid for your craft or your labor, right? If you don't want to get paid for your craft or your labor, you are absolutely FUCKING crazy. Andy Mac, yo. Wayne Emery, what's up? Yes, Andy. K at Jimmy John's. Cheers to you, my friend, for remembering that. Okay. So first off, guys, let me talk about the pathways to the entry-level point of a professional software developer, software engineer, programmer, whatever, right? So as far as most of you guys know, you got like 2 or 3 different pathways, right? There's a traditional college, there is a boot camp, and then there's the self-taught route, right? They got at least 3 of them right there, right? And that's not it's not three different options for that's not bad, right? Now there's different like positives and negatives for all 3 of these above, right? In all honesty, most of you guys know in 2022, most likely going to school is not the right option for most people unless it's going to be free. And the chances of it being free are probably slim to none. So, and when I say the best option, I mean, is it worth your time being anywhere between 4 to 5 to 6 years of your life, and your money anywhere between, I don't know, whatever it costs nowadays, but well over $100,000 for a full collegiate degree, right? A 4-year university, a bachelor's degree, right? Especially considering that majority of people in the industry are under that self-taught category, and they didn't have to spend that time or money in order to get there. In fact, you could argue that money and that time was not beneficial, right? I would argue that for our friend Kay that I was just talking about, that I don't think it was very beneficial for them, right? And speaking of, yes, distinguished chart that I have. All right, so, and actually, guys, let me share something with you guys too. So this is from a presentation that I give a couple times a year at a super top secret event, but I'll just show you guys one slide of it, just so you guys know I'm for realsies about it. So, and this breaks down the people in the programming software development field who are either self-taught, trained on the job, have a bachelor's degree, have a computer science master's, blah, 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 blah. And as you guys can see right here, the largest percentage of people in this field are under that self-taught category, 69.1%. That's pretty substantial, right? And then we have on-the-job training at 43.9%. And then what is this down here? Why am I zooming out? Computer science, bachelor's of science, computer science related field, which is what I have, 34.8%. So the big two heavy hitters right here, the self-taught and the on-job training, those are pretty big, right? So that is why I want to say that, in my opinion, I believe that people who don't want to go and at least work a traditional wagey for minimum 6 months, guys. My opinion is 6 months. It should be a year to 2 years, but a minimum of 6 months. You're messing up. You're missing out. Okay. Now, we put this thing back in. On-job training, 49.3%. Also, by the way, guys, I would like to add that, like, this, I don't know if this statistics, if this took into account people doing more than one, because, I mean, you very well could be self-taught and you also learn on the job, or you very well could have a computer science degree and you're also self-taught and learn on the job, okay? Because we all know from my previous streams, you don't really learn a whole lot in computer science degrees in 2022. Just keeping it real with you. Solo. What's up, boys? What up, Solo? Good to see you. Ren O'Keefe says, don't you have to take useless classes that have nothing to do with coding in college? Yep. Yeah, man, especially if you're getting a full undergraduate degree, you're going to be taking a lot of junk that is completely unrelated. So K sounds like a guy I know we used to call M. Yes. Distinguished gentleman, yes. Those percentages are sus. That's like 500%. Yeah, I think that's because people can select more than one of those. But anyway, if you are just starting out and you're just learning how to code and you're like, you want to do the self-employed thing. All right, listen, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? I'm self-employed. A lot of people in this live stream right now are self-employed, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, you're going to get more money doing that. You're going to be able to do bigger, better, brighter, newer things. And on top of that, you're going to have, I would say, more freedom in your life. You don't have to go into an office, not like any of these jobs nowadays, you even go into the office anymore, but you're not going to have to stay in front of like a phone or a computer on call from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, if you're self-employed, because you're going to do work on your own time and you're going to pay yourself because you'll be paying yourself on your own time. So that's actually the better way to go. And if anyone is a developer or trying to become a developer, if that's the kind of life you want to live, that's obviously something I think you should strive for. However, just like I said, I'm self-employed. However, I was not. For almost a decade, I worked professionally in the traditional wagey software industry, in multiple different industries, but in the software industry as a whole. All right. I got so much out of that money, the amount of money, if I would have paid 3x what I did for college, because I happen to go to college too, wish I didn't, but hey, back then things were a little bit different. I couldn't pay a boot camp. I couldn't pay for a developer direction pass. I couldn't pay for anything that would give me as much experience and benefit as what I did working in the industry. It's just a fact, guys. Like, being stuck at a job that you're pressured to do well on, because if not, you're going to get fired and you have bills to pay, that's going to light a fire under your ass and it's going to motivate you. Not that wouldn't if you were self-employed. However, it's a little bit different when you're young, dumb, and full of cum. All right, it's a little bit different. And then also, like, you're not gonna if you are 100% totally self-employed, but you don't even have a team, you're not gonna have anybody to get your back and teach you things that you might not know. Whereas if you're on a job there's going to be, let's just say you're a junior and you're on a job and you're working for a telecom company and you're on a team of 15 people. Like at least two to five of those people are going to be senior developers, and they're most certainly going to teach you something. Not always. A lot of times when you work with people, you have a lot of soy devs, and they're going to be like, "Don't ask me dumb questions, man." But a lot of times, if those people are smart, they're going to want to invest their time into you to teach you things so that you can eventually leave them the hell alone and not bother them and get your grunt work done like a good wagey would do. Antonio, what is up? JP, it's been forever since I got alive. Good to see you, man. Then we have 1% per day. What you mean? 1% a day what? Oh. The chart. The numbers. What do they mean, guys? What do they mean? So that's pretty important, guys. I really do, and I tell everybody who is in DD that ask about it, like honestly, like most 99% of people, especially like my Zoomer clients, the Gen Z people, they don't want to go to a traditional waging because they see me and they see other guys in the group. They see us doing it professionally without having to like, ooh, 25 good boy tokens deducted from your wallet. It's time for everyone to come to your mandatory Shibuya roll call training where we take all the bad things out of your head, whatever, right? Because they're just normal people and they just want to get paid and be left the hell alone, right? And they want to get paid to do something that they're good at, that they enjoy. But you're missing out if you're unwilling to at least spend 6 months to a year doing that. Okay. There's no amount of reading. There's no amount of memorization. There's no amount of courses you can take online. There's no amount of anything that's going to compare to real world experience, especially at like a large software company. And honestly, a lot of the stuff that they do, it's really silly and stupid. Like, man, honestly, like if you're on a team of less than 10 people, like there really is no real reason to have an agile methodology or for your software development team, especially if you guys aren't pushing out like massive amounts of code. There's no reason to do that. And some of this stuff is way too uniform and silly, but you will most definitely get something out of that and learn something from it. So let's just say that you hearing that from me absolutely kills it for you, and you're like, man, I don't want to go do that. Well, if you feel like it's like you have to start now doing your own thing, starting your own company or being a freelancer, which, by the way, I hate the word freelancer. I think the word self-employed is better, but that just because you have a 9-to-5 doesn't mean you can't do that on the side. They might frown upon it, but you're not going to tell them. Nobody tells them, right? A lot of people do it. We call it double dipping, and we got quite a few guys that do that. But there you go. In fact, that's probably what you should be doing if that inevitably is your game plan, because what you can do is once you're ready to quit your job, you already have things up and running on the side. So specifically for juniors, why is it not the best thing to do? Well, a couple reasons, guys. Like, in all honesty, if you're self-employed, there really is going to be no pressure for you to perform very hard. All right. You're not going to have your manager breathing down your neck, trying to deduct 25 good boy tokens from your wallet every time you miss a project deadline or something like that. You're self-employed, so you're gonna be like, man, no one's gonna punish me. The client might not like me and I might not get paid for it, but no one's gonna punish me for it, right? And if you're young, you're gonna lack the discipline to get the work done, most likely, and you're also gonna lack the discipline to have to sit down and sort those problems out. This is a fact, because hey, if I go look back when I was 18, I most certainly would have been too young and lacked the self-discipline to do that. And that's okay. That's okay. But that's why I tell people you need some time with boots on the ground in the trenches. And also it'll make you appreciate being self-employed much, much more too. And I'll hit this part again too. Like if you are going to start out being self-employed, you really are, unless you are in a community like Developer Direction, you're going to lack mentorship from people who you're going to need. And even if you are in DD, no one in DD is just going to like do every single problem for you, right? So if you're not on a traditional, or you're not with a traditional company like doing a 9 to 5, and you don't have a team of people to help you out with stuff, you are going to lack that mentorship. And that mentorship is important, guys, because it's just one of those things that you can't buy. You can't buy. I'm going to go grab some water real quick, guys. I will be right back. What's up, guys? I'm Josh, or as you probably know me, eLift Program, and I'm here to talk to you about Developer Direction. What is Developer Direction, you might ask? We are the ultimate IT network and training academy. Ever heard of Fight Club? Yeah, it's kind of like that, but with more computing power. We teach and give courses just like boot camps, but that's not all. We help people actually get jobs, unlike colleges, and we help people get better jobs with better pay and a better life. Here at DD, you don't get grades because your performance is reflected upon by how good you're doing in the real world. You won't accumulate hundreds of thousands of dollars in student debt because we offer a one-time yearly fee that's a fraction of that price. And you won't be wasting your time learning about the latest and greatest social trends because you'll be too busy learning about the latest and greatest trends in the tech and IT market. From courses to networking, to problem solving, to teaming up together on projects, giving and receiving mentorship, we've got it all. So whether you're a beginner who knows nothing about code or tech, I have returned. I have returned from the blockchain. Another thing I was thinking about too, guys, that I forgot to mention is that, like, if you're young and you are a junior, and let's just say you do go and do the traditional 9 to 5, you're young enough to take the risk of like, ooh, I'm going to make this little side hustle over here. I'm going to start my own software company as an alternative source of your income. Because if it doesn't work, then if the alternative source doesn't work, then you still have your traditional job. And you're still going to get the benefit from learning from your traditional job and the mentorship. And you're probably going to touch different components of software that you personally wouldn't choose to do. Because if you are, and listen, guys, most of the time, if your client asks you for some kind of software, they're not going to like specify what tech stack you're going to use, what language you're going to use. You as a developer, you're going to decide that yourself, right? But if you're working, so you're probably going to stick with something that is easy to you and in your wheelhouse, and not something that's going to be challenging or expand your knowledge set. But if you're working with a company, you ain't going to have a choice. Most likely, you're going to be working on some probably decrepit old legacy system, and you're probably going to be converting that system into a newer system. So it's got that you're gonna touch parts of software and areas of software that you personally probably wouldn't need to if you were self-employed. And yeah, the biggest thing too, guys, like it doesn't always work out for people in the first time they do the self-employed route. It doesn't work out the first time people start a software company. It doesn't, because a lot of times, especially if you're young, you just lack the self-discipline. I'm sorry if that hurts feelings, but you just do. And also, you don't really have a reputation at this point. You don't really have any resume clout per se. You haven't done anything good or big in the industry, and so like, you're going to have to take care of the marketing and all that stuff yourself. Good luck. Hi, I'm Paul, and I am 18, and I like to code, so I learned to code yesterday, and would you guys please pay me $100,000 for the software product? Chances are it ain't going to happen. Yeah, exactly. If we don't deliver or hunt, we don't eat. Exactly. And are you prepared to do that as a junior? As an 18-year-old, you might not be. Or you might say that you are, and you might come to find out that it's not as easy as you thought. JP says, it's hard to stay disciplined without accountability for me personally, 23 years old. Yeah, dude, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's usually how it goes, right? But as you evolve and as you mature, things change. You gain that self-discipline. You gain that sweat equity worth work ethic, blah. Excuse me. And you start to become more mentally mature to where you realize, hey, if I don't go and get this done, the bills they just ain't gonna get paid. Ain't gonna get paid. So yeah, guys, in all honesty, I really do think, me personally, obviously, I think the self-employed route is the way to go. I think either you're going to be a freelancer, you're going to go contract to contract, start your own software company. That is the way to go. Inevitably, that should be your goal. And as with all the changes in humanity, if you guys saw my sovereign individual streams going on right now, that's probably going to be a necessity in the near future. The return on investment that people are getting from working a traditional job, it's going down the shitter. With that being said, though, that should be your end goal, and that shouldn't be the initial step that you're trying to take. You should spend some time with boots on the ground and your hand on the heckin' keyboard inside of a wagey place so you can learn a thing or two, so you can have a year or two to grow the hell up and gain some maturity. Let your eggs drop first. You know what I mean? And then you can reassess and thinking about, okay, now I want to go and do this other thing too. And on top of that too, like I said, there's nothing wrong with starting that side hustle, with starting your own software company, with starting some freelancing on the side. And if it fails, it's okay. You can still pay the bills because you still got money coming in from the other job. And in fact, on top of that, while you're working that wage, you should be saving up your money or investing that money in your software company or your up and coming software company, or in the services or the devices or whatever you need, education, in order to go and do freelance work. And once you grow up and mature, didn't do be like that though. So as always, guys, link in the description below if you want to learn how to code developer direction. We got some good peeps over there. Also, if you are indeed a sovereign individual and you're not self-custodying your crypto, link in the description box below to get yourself a Trezor, $25 of free Bitcoin, and some sats go to help the channel. And yeah, that is it. I'm out. I hope you guys have a resilient evening.